Hi friends! I'm so excited for today's episode of Multi-Hyphenate. I'm going to interview professional makeup artist Jenny Lynn. Her work is seen in various fashion campaigns, album covers, music videos, published in magazines like Playboy and May Jones, to name a few. Tonight, we're going to talk about her life, and she's going to share some pro tips on how to take care of your skin and how to do tricky eye makeup looks on Asian eyes, like this cut crease that I'm rocking right now.
I got all pretty for you. I'm wearing a dress and everything. I'm gonna kind of walk you through what we're gonna outline.
Okay.
So I'm gonna pretend I'm gonna be doing makeup on your eye. We're gonna start with a fluffy brush like this one. Alright, so you're gonna get a transition shade. So basically anything like mid-tone, I'm gonna do like a warm cut crease. So I'm gonna take this shade right here. It's like a little orangey shade. I'm using the Tarte Young, Wild, and Cruelty Free Unleashed palette, and I'm using the shade Toucan Do It. The first thing you're gonna do is kind of create just the transition shade right where the crease is supposed to be. What you're gonna do is you want to start from the outer part of your eye. Remember I told you we don't really want to do that like super dome shape, because for your eye shape we're gonna drag it out a little bit longer.
Okay.
And so we want to kind of extend this part because we're gonna also put eyeliner.
So is it right above where your fold would be?
Yeah, right above where your fold would be.
I'm using like this bricky color called Purr.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
The Man-Eater Tarte.
I love that one. So we're basically gonna kind of create like a wing shape, but on the crease. And we're gonna mainly focus it on the outer corner, and then whatever's left on the brush, you could start to drag it inwards. But follow the natural shape of your eye. Yeah, so you're just gonna drag it out, and then whatever's left, bring it in. And you can bring it in pretty far in. So it should be kind of like, the shape should be kind of, so this is the end of your eye. It should be kind of starting from the corner, kind of like a wing right on the crease, and then right.
Kind of like an S?
It should be kind of like a little upside down Nike sign, kind of.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, kind of like that. That's basically the base of our crease. And you could deepen it or leave it like this. It depends on how dark you want to go. So like if you wanted to deepen it a little bit more, the key to blending is starting with the light color and then slowly going up the grade of colors. So you want to start light and then build with the next shade darker if you want to build it up to intensify the darkness of it, and then you could kind of go from there. So like if you wanted to kind of keep it that shade, you could stop there, or you could go a shade darker, which for me it would be No Fox Given, and for you it would be the one I saw, like the next shade over. Yeah. And we're gonna start wherever we put the brush first. That's like where you're gonna get the most color, so you want to mainly focus it on the outer corner. So we're gonna mainly focus it where we blended, but right on the bottom part of where we blended. So like this is where we applied the shadow. We want to put it right below it, like right below it. So we're gonna kind of like sandwich it up, like stack it up. Do you have a smaller brush? Like a small fluffy brush, kind of like this? If you don't have this brush, you need it. This is a good one. This is from Morphe, and it's like a really tiny blending brush. If you don't have one like this, it's totally fine.
I have this.
Let me see. Yeah, that works.
This one was a free one from Sigma.
I love Sigma. You want to apply the color right below where we blended. So like right below. Like not too much below, but right below. Just so it creates kind of like a gradient effect. And again, you want to focus it on the outer corner and then blend it in like that. Man, I wish I was with you. This would be so much easier.
But there's kind of like a line.
Oh, it's okay if there's a line, because we're going to go over it with concealer anyways. And if you feel like it's too much of like a stark line, you could go over with the first brush you used and then blend that out. That's what I'm going to do.
For colors, I read somewhere that darker colors make you age, and lighter colors make you look younger. Is that true? Because
Yes.
I just
and I
turned
feel
30,
like the older
so-
you get, the more you realize how true that is. Because like I feel like now, like this is a lot of makeup for me now. And I used to wear a lot of makeup.
Me too.
I know we both used to wear a bunch of makeup, and like the older I get, the more I'm like, my favorite foundation is a water-based foundation. It's the MAC Face and Body, like super natural, like Glossier type skin, like. Because I don't know, like I feel like less is more, and that comes with age, and that also comes with like realizing you don't need everything that we used, you know.
It took me a while to get used to like my skin. And I used to break out a lot because I thought I had adult acne, and it turns out it was rosacea. Yeah, so I'm just starting to learn like how to take care of it better. Even now, I still have like a lot of red spots, and my skin is very sensitive, so I get a lot of sunspots. But now it's like I actually like them. When I see it, I'm like, oh, they're kind of like freckles.
Yeah. That's what I call. Whenever I have a client, they're like, oh, I have sunspots. I'm like, they're not sunspots. They're freckles. You earned those.
Exactly. You earned those.
You earned them. I mean, I do have sunspots, and I have a lot of acne scars because I had cystic acne for like 10 years. And I still have like leftover, and I still break out. As you can see, I'm like getting really like bad acne on my chin because of like the masks and stuff, and I think hormonal imbalances.
What do you do when you start breaking out?
To be honest with you, through the years, I've realized that the more gentle skincare that I have, the better for me. That's something that I've noticed like really made a huge difference, because I tried everything. I tried all the crappy stuff like Proactive and, sulfur soap and a bunch of stuff. But it wasn't until I, started using like CeraVe or La Roche-Posay, like very like gentle, no fragrance. My skin does not like fragrance whatsoever. Eliminating all like those harsh, irritating ingredients is what helped me.
That's so funny because like me too, and I talk about this before in like my other video. When I was younger, I thought the more expensive the product is, the more effective it is. But it had a lot of chemicals that was making everything worse for me.
Exactly.
CeraVe was the one that helped me a lot.
Yeah, because think about it this way. Back in the day, like, I feel like acne kind of became a thing like in modern times, because back in the day everything was so holistic, and we started implementing like all these like hormones in our foods and hormones and this and that, and so like that has developed our our genetics into having acne and things like that, and our foods and just everything plays a big role, because what's really going on is internal. That acne is what's happening inside your body. It's just showcasing it. So I feel like diet has a huge part to do with it, and I feel like drinking water has a lot to do with it. Just having a lot of vegetables and things like that really help. And then hyaluronic acid will be your best friend, especially with rosacea. Yeah. Just took my boyfriend to get a facial. Well, I mean, I went with him. He found out that he had rosacea, and the first thing that she recommended was hyaluronic acid for his rosacea.
Oh, okay.
So now we're going to do the cut crease with concealer of your choice. I have two options. I'm using the Joy Essential High Coverage Liquid Concealer. I think this is the one I'm going to use for the cut crease. And then you could also use like the e.l.f. Hydrating Camel Concealer. It's very similar. What do you have?
I think I have the e.l.f. too.
The hydrating one?
No, I don't know what this is. So I broke the case somehow, so I taped it. So I'll thank you right now, but...
Pride. You're representing pride.
Yep.
So you're going to get a little paddle brush like this.
Good thing I just cleaned my brushes.
I know, me too.
Oh, you're always on.
I I'm always cleaning
yeah.
brushes, like on the daily. I wash my brushes with antibacterial Dawn soap. So it's like an orange bottle, and that's what I use to, like, especially with everything going on, it's antibacterial. And then after that, I don't recommend you do this, but after that, I dip it into 70% alcohol for my clients, just to make sure it's disinfected. All right, so now that you have it saturated, this is the part where I'm gonna help you with. So, you know how a lot of people will start rounding this out? For you, instead of rounding it out, you kind of want to follow, like, if you look straight and see where your fold is right here, you want to do it right, like very close to right above the fold that you have. So, like, you see where your fold is?
Yes.
Just right above it, just a little bit, but go in the same shape as your eye. That's the key point.
Do I start, does it matter, inside or outside?
You can start from the inner corner. So I'm going to kind of show you. This is kind of the shape you want for your eye shape. I'm not going to do it like how I would for me. So you kind of want to do like that, and then kind of drag it up like that.
Okay.
You see? Kind of like a wing, but like a really thick. It's going to look like a thick, like, light eyeliner. But yeah, the key for the cut crease, though, is just follow your eye shape. But you do want to create that, like, cut crease effect, but not by rounding it out. Because sometimes, I don't know, have you ever noticed, like, when it's, like, too round, it just doesn't look natural?
Yeah, I look like I don't know, like a weird baby doll.
So, like, that is the key. Like, for monolids, you want to make sure that you still accentuate what's already there. You're just kind of over-exaggerating it just by a little bit.
Accentuate and over-exaggerate what you have.
Yes, ma'am. What really matters is this inner part, and just making sure that you follow what's already there. And that's something I've learned doing makeup throughout the years. You want to accentuate what's already there. You know, you want to create illusions and whatnot, but you also want to make sure that you still keep the integrity of your face, you know.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because in the last year, so I used to put on, like, a lot of makeup too. And in the last year, when I started learning more about my skin, I was kind of like, well, I don't need makeup anymore if I'm gonna, like, want to have, like, raw skincare and not put too much makeup on. But if you don't do it either, it's not fun. If you love, like, just the presentation of like what you said, accentuating what you have.
Exactly.
So it's really more about working with your makeup for your face, so you can still have fun with it. You don't have to stop wearing it all throughout.
Exactly. Yeah. That's literally what it is. And that's something that I think it kind of comes with age too, like the way you see your body, for instance. Like, this is, like, for me, personal experience. Like, the younger I was, like, the thinner I was, but now I'm the heaviest I've ever been, and I'm the happiest I've ever been in my body, you know? Yeah. So I think it's just, like, learning that, you know, you just kind of, like, you're just like, this is what I have, and this is what I'm gonna rock, and that's that. Like, totally. I'm not trying to be so-and-so, because, like, that's so dangerous, I feel like, nowadays. I feel like everybody just wants to look like everybody, and it's like, there's no beauty in that. What's beautiful is that we're all different. That's what makes the world a better place. Like, how boring would it be if we all looked the same, you know? Totally.
I feel like social media really played a huge part in that, where, like, a lot of people just want to, you know, like, copy paste the things that they see that they think are pretty, but it doesn't necessarily have to work for you. You can have your own thing.
Exactly. And I do feel like we're kind of heading in the right direction, because I do follow a lot of, like, women that are just, like, embracing, like, on TikTok. I, like, follow so many women that just embrace what they have, and, like, I see so many women now, like, be out there that look like me, and I'm sure you've encountered that too. And it just, like, makes you, like, wake up and be like, yeah, like, this is me, and that's okay, and, like, I'm gonna rock it, and I'm gonna show it off, because there's only one of you, there's only one of me, you know?
Totally. There's this TikTok voiceover that I used, and I really loved it because they were talking about how you know your flaws because you see your face all the time. So of course you automatically gravitate towards the little things that stand out to you that are not always there.
Exactly.
And then when you're looking at another person, especially like online, you think that they're perfect, but they're thinking the same thing. They see their flaws and they're
100%.
looking at you thinking you're pretty. And it's just like, it's
a never-ending cycle.
It's a never-ending cycle. But that's why it's so important, I feel like, to be vocal. To not just look the way that you want to look, but, you know, have some substance in what you say, too. Just to inspire people, I feel like that, like, you can
we
be
need more
you.
of that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I feel like a lot of us now are doing more of that, which is great. Especially our generation.
Yeah.
Because we're like in between, so we're kind of learning from the younger generation because they like really embrace who they are, and I find that so fascinating and amazing.
It's inspiring.
So
I know, I love Gen Z.
So you know how like I was having a lot of skin issues, and then when my little sister moved to the U.S., because you know she barely just hit puberty, so she's still having like a lot of acne. And she is so confident. And then that's when I was like, if I am so worried about my face and like my pimples, then that's gonna set her back. Like, I need to be more like her. And ever since then, I just started embracing my skin too. And it also started getting better.
Yeah. And I feel like your brain has so much control over everything too. Like, you don't realize it, but I feel like your brain, whatever you tell your brain is what happens. Like, I know I sound like a crazy person, but like, I really believe in that. So the fact that I think a lot of it has to do with your insides. Like, if you let it be an issue, like it will create an issue. It's kind of like manifestation, you know? I think that's what it is. And
pimples and like the skin, it's just your body telling you something's wrong. It's like, that's why you get sick. That's why you know, your stomach gets upset because it got poisoned or something. It's just telling you that something's off.
Exactly. And that's it. There's nothing much to it.
There was this tweet that I saw. It was just so funny because they were like, if your skin starts clearing up after you stop talking to him, he wasn't the one.
That is so true.
It's so true. If you're stressing me out, you're not the one. I'm breaking out, dude. Bye.
Alright, so now we're just gonna go over the concealer with like a lighter shade. So you can I'm gonna use probably like a mixture of these two. This is You Are Lion and Irrelevant. And you guys could choose or you could choose if you want shimmery or matte. I'm gonna do shimmer. Yeah, once you put that color down and you feel like you need to reinforce the crease, you could always go back and like reinforce it.
I'm using Foxy and Lace from the same palette.
Cool. Something I've like noticed being a makeup artist, a lot of people have like an order on how they apply makeup, and I don't. Like, when I'm applying makeup on someone, I could start with like the eyes first and then base, or then I'll do the base and then the eyes, and then I'll do the brows at the very end or at the very beginning. So I kind of jump around a lot.
For me, I think it depends what kind of eye makeup I'm gonna have. If I know I'm gonna have a lot of fallout, then I would do the eyes first.
Yeah.
Just so I can clean up the bottom later. But yeah, I do my eyebrows first.
Yeah, brows are usually a good place to start for me. Have you done it like this before? The cut crease?
No. When I used to do like a cut crease type of look, I don't even know if that was a cut crease, more like the two-tone smoky eye thing.
Yeah.
I would make it round from what I remember.
I used to do that too, like, when I first started doing makeup. That's something that like I learned through time, because like the more you work on different faces and different eye shapes, different skin tones, different skin textures, like, you know, it just evolves too. And like the way I do makeup now is completely different than how I used to do makeup like when I first met you.
Yeah.
Like when I first met you, girl, I worked at MAC, so I was like plastering like like a wall of stucco or something. Now it's like, oh, a little bit here, a little bit there. Ta-da.
So if I didn't want to put on a lot of foundation, but I was worried about evening my skin tone because I get like red spots, how would I achieve that without layering a bunch of makeup?
So 2 products I really enjoy for like you use the MAC Face and Body, right? I know you don't want to use foundation. Okay, so I really like to use Face and Body for just like spot. Like, I don't put it all over sometimes. Like, sometimes when I'm just going to go out and about and just kind of want to even everything out, I'll just apply it with my fingers. And it's such a lightweight formula. Like, it just feels like water. And then another thing is the Glossier Stretch Concealer. This is amazing. Like, it's so good. Like, if you don't like high coverage, but you like dewy, but you don't like heavy, this is like gonna be your new best friend. This is a really, really good. I actually use this as foundation sometimes. Like, if I just want a super glass looking skin, just this as foundation, because it's a concealer, but it has about the same coverage as this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a very light coverage concealer. Like, there's nothing like it out there, I don't think. Like, I've never tried a concealer this sheer before.
I've never tried Glossier's concealers or foundations. I only buy their eye stuff and cheeks and lips.
Oh yeah, their little cheek clouds or what are they called?
I love those. I love those, but I kind of hate the packaging sometimes because
the top.
Yeah, it's always grimy up top, or it just squirts out so much.
Or you lose the cap because it's so little.
Yeah, it's so little. But I like mixing. It's kind of like a brick red color for here, and then like the dusk, the orange one here.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't need bronzer anymore or anything. It's like just an easy look that I could put in my purse.
I think you'll really like the concealer though. It's so dewy. So it's called stretch concealer for a reason, because like a little bit goes a long way, and then you just could stretch it out, and it literally looks like skin.
Oh my gosh, it does look like glass.
It's so pretty. I love it for foundation. Like, if you just want to look like your skin's even, but it still shows things through. Good one.
Thank goodness for Glossier bringing back the dewy, natural.
I know. I wish their packaging was better. That's the only thing. The product is great. It's just like the packaging is like really cheap, and for like how much it costs, I'm just like,
you can do better.
They should invest a little bit more on the packaging, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Have you tried their Halo scope?
No, but that's in my list.
It's good. I really like it.
So where do you put it? It's like a highlighter, right?
Yeah. So I typically apply like cream highlights on my bare skin before foundation. A lot of people put them. I do layer them sometimes. I'll put them like on top and in the bottom, but like usually I'll prep my skin with like moisturizer, primer, or whatever, and then I usually use the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector liquid, and I'll take like a little bit, and then I'll just apply it with my fingers on like the high points, like usually on my bare skin, and then like anywhere you would highlight, so like here, the inner corner, under the brow, down the nose. I love to put it on like my décolleté too, and then you can put it on your eyes, and it kind of gives you like that like wet eye effect.
Oh, I love that. I learned from my ex-roommate's little sister what she would do. She would use Carmex and put it on top of it, and it would look so glossy and so pretty. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of that before. I've heard of Carmex, and I've heard of what else do they use? Sometimes people use like Vaseline and things like that. I just use MAC lip gloss because it's like super shiny.
Yeah.
So that's what I use like for editorial looks, and then it's clear, so you can like mix it with colors and things. I cringe at the fact that I used to wear matte foundations.
Oh my god, but that was such a trend too though, so don't blame yourself. It was matte everything, matte eyes, matte lips, and it would be cracking like throughout the day. Oh my god.
Oh my god. I hope we never go back to that. I'm sure we will, but I hope we don't. I was really happy when gloss came back.
I know, it recycles like everything.
It definitely does. Yeah, like even brows, like the way I do brows on clients now is completely different from like how it was 9 years ago.
Well, we actually transitioned to a lot of things. I remember we used to love like the super arch, like really like sharp.
Yeah.
And then we love the Cara Delevingne bushy eyebrows. And now
it's like laminated brows.
I want to try the soap brows.
Oh, try, you know what you could try? There's so many things you could use. You could use soap. You could use, I actually use this L'Oreal Voluminous primer. Mm-hmm. I use this for my brows. So it comes off white, but like, I don't know if you could see, it like does not budge.
No, it,
like, so
yeah, it looks
I'll go over it with this, and then I'll get a clean spoolie, and then I'll kind of brush away like the white tint to it.
Yeah.
But before I put this on, I use the Glossier Brow Flick.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so I'll just like draw little hairs, or you could use like an eyeshadow too, and an angled brush. I also use, like, for people that need their makeup to not budge for the whole day, I actually use eyelash glue for brow gel. Duo non-latex is the best one, because I have the House of Lashes glue, and this one doesn't work as well for brows. I find that the Duo one works best, and the way I do it is basically I'll grab a spoolie. Let me see if I can find one.
This is definitely the first time I've heard of that trick.
Yeah, I have a lot of tricks now, girl. I learned from a lot of people.
Thank you for sharing it with us.
Always. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll grab like a spoolie, and then I'll get the glue, and I won't dip the spoolie in the glue. What I'll grab the little applicator, and I'll just kind of run whatever is on this part of the applicator on the spoolie, just so that there's just enough. The only tricky thing with this is you have to work really fast. So like you have to brush the hairs really quickly before it dries.
Wow. It does have the soap effect.
And it has the soap effect, but honestly, I've tried soap before and it just doesn't stay. So if you want it to stay, if you have like stubborn brows, because my brows go down, so this is what helps me. And especially people with like thick eyebrows, I find that the glue works better than like anything. Cheapest way to laminate your brows, Duo non-latex eyelash adhesive. I've tried soap. I've tried soap brows. I've tried glycerin soap, and it just does not stay.
Yeah.
It doesn't stay. Like, it'll stay for a little bit, and then it's not a very hard effect. You know, like it won't like budge. And for me, like my brows, I'm not blessed with like super nice brows, so like I need it to stay put all day. So that's the only thing that has worked for me. Oh. I actually learned it from another makeup artist.
Oh, that must be so fun, being on set.
It's the best job. Like, I feel so lucky to do what I do. Like, it's I still can't believe it sometimes. It's
instant. The feeling, the feedback that you get from your client, it's so instant.
It really is. And you do something different every day, and that's like what I love about it. Like, I don't function well when I do the same thing every day, and I think that's why quarantine like was so hard for me, because I was just like, even though I'm a huge introvert, I practice like being an extrovert through my job, and like it's the only time I can exercise that, you know, without like, you know, going crazy.
Totally.
So, I guess we could do eyeliner. You want to do eyeliner?
Yeah. What are you using?
I'm using Fenty Beauty Fly Liner.
How do you like that? I used to use this. I'm using this Kat Von D. The ink liner?
To be honest with you, I don't like it.
How come?
I'm just trying to use it up. I think the formula is too dry. So, like, it'll crumble. So, like, if you layer it too much or if you do, like, a thick line, it'll start to crumble and it kind of creates texture. A lot of people like it. I'm just super picky with eyeliner. My favorite eyeliner is, like, $3. It's from Essence. But I just don't have it with me. But it's just, like, a regular liquid liner. But I'm just trying to use this up.
This one I like because I don't know, because it's probably because of the shape of my eyes or where the fold is, but eyeliner would usually just like start smudging here after a few hours, but this one stays put for me.
Oh yeah, that one stays put. That's a really good eyeliner. I just prefer traditional liquid liners. I don't really use felt tips, just because I just find liquid liners to be easier. This one I just got as like a Sephora perk. I think. Oh no, I got it in an order with that I did for Fenty actually. It's not horrible. I really like how like dark it is, but it's just not my favorite.
Another one that I like is the Wet n Wild one.
That one's really good.
That one stays.
That one stays put. I love Wet n Wild. They've been like one of my favorite lines since I first started buying makeup because I couldn't afford to buy makeup for the longest time. So all I used to use was e.l.f. and Wet n Wild. That's all I had when I first started to learn about makeup. Ironically, I always thought like MAC was the end-all be-all.
Me too.
Yeah, I used to like, before I worked there, I used to actually hate going inside MAC because I was scared.
What?
I was so intimidated by the people that worked there. And ironically, I worked there for 5 years of my life. And I would actually get clients coming in and they'd be like, I was actually scared to come in here and like, you're actually really nice. And like, I didn't think people here were nice. So I was like, don't worry. I know what you mean. They look like gods and goddesses.
They're gods and goddesses, exactly.
Literally. That's what I thought. I'm like, how is your skin so like porcelain looking? Like everything that they used, I wanted to buy, which, you know, later then I learned like why that is. Like they make you wear literally everything in the store so that you can sell everything in the store when you work there. Everything
from the primer, from the moisturizer to the primer to the whole
everything.
And you're over here thinking, yeah, I need all of that.
Yeah, exactly. I was such a horrible salesperson, though. I would tell people, like, they would ask me how much a brush was, and I'm sure you know how much MAC brushes are. Like, a face brush is, like, $53. And you'd be like, oh, that's a nice brush. How much is that brush? And I'm like, to be honest with you, get the e.l.f. one. I'm like, at Target, like, it's way cheaper. I think it's because, like, for me, I would sympathize with people because, you know, I didn't grow up with money. Like, my parents, I was always, like, really poor. So, like, money was always, like, kind of an obstacle. And even when I worked there, I couldn't afford a lot of the stuff that we sold, ironically. And I think it's, like, it comes from, like, a sense of sympathy of, like, you know, like, oh, I know something better that's cheaper. I would do that with, like, eyeliner, too, because, like, we have that black liquid liner there called Boot Black, and I would be wearing my favorite liner of all time that they don't make anymore. It was from NYC, and it was, like, $2, and they would be like, what eyeliner are you wearing? And, like, I'd be like, it's honestly, like, $2. It's from NYC. I'm like, you can get it at Target.
And you worked at the one in Glendale, right?
Yeah, I worked at the one in Glendale. I mean, I worked at a bunch of different ones, but that was my home store. I was a freelancer for them. So, like, I worked in Culver City. I worked in Northridge. I worked in Topanga. I worked in basically all over LA. Yeah, I don't like this eyeliner. Sorry, Rihanna, you do everything else right, but no, not this guy. It's not a brush tip like the Kat Von D. It's a felt tip. So I don't like felt tips because then they like bend and stuff. And you know me, I like my wings sharp.
Yes, I know that.
I like it sharp, and I'm struggling right now.
You always have like snatched wings, like really like.
Not today. Not today, apparently. But thank you. It's just years of practice, years of people asking me to do wings on them. Although I feel like they're not that like. I mean, they're still a thing, obviously, but I would get them. Like, I would get people asking me to do it on them like way more, maybe like 5 years ago. I feel like people are embracing like that makeup, no makeup look nowadays.
I do love colored liners.
Me too.
Yeah. Dude, there's so many things that you could do with that white liner because you can even like put it over eyeshadow or put it under.
You could prime your eye with it. You can even do a cut crease with it. Basically like what we did with the concealer, but if you want to like create more of an intense effect, you could use it for that. You can put little designs on your face. I love playing with colored liner.
I like the Glossier gel liners, but I also like the Fenty ones.
It's like a liquid liner, right?
No, I tried those. Those are fun because of the colors, but these ones, they get crusty.
I see.
This one's a white one, but I
Ooh,
they have a yellow, a
pretty.
gold one. It stays.
It's really pretty. I didn't know she had those. What I use in my kit right now for like colored liner is actually the Anastasia Beverly Hills lipstick palette. It has like every color you can think of, and I just use those as eyeliners because you can just literally mix whatever color you want. And because I carry a 70-pound kit everywhere, I can't really carry like a bunch of like
individual
gel liners, you know, so I don't play by the rules. Like, if I buy something and it says it's for one thing, I don't just use it for that one thing. Yeah. I use it for a bunch of different things. Like, you have to. That's also like I don't want to break my back carrying a bajillion things because I'm like legit serious. Like, my kit is 70 pounds. I've weighed it. And when I lived in San Francisco, I was like going up hills with it.
What was that like?
It was really cool, actually. I would like pinch myself every day, like going to work. I worked at 2 salons while I was there, but the second salon that I started working at was like in the heart of San Francisco, is in the financial district. Mm-hmm. And so like, I don't know, like, have you ever seen like a movie and like it's like based in New York and it's like a journalist or something and they're just like walking down the street and it's like LA is like completely different than that, you know, like San Francisco and I think New York have that like city, like fast-paced metropolitan, like, oh, I need to get here, like there's pedestrians everywhere. I got to live that, and like never in my life did I think I would ever be there, you know. I just ended up there, and it was a really cool experience. Like, I honestly feel like I wouldn't be where I am in my career if I hadn't have moved, because I was kind of forced to quit at my last job in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And so that was what kind of started me becoming self-employed. Like, that was my last actual job.
Oh.
That was my last actual job. I went full-time freelance while I was living there. And then I moved here and I started to do like Lyft while still looking for work, like makeup work.
Yeah.
And I honestly feel like it was such a blessing that I was kind of forced to quit, because it pushed me to like hustle hard, you know, and to like really focus in my career. Because I feel like around the time you and me met, I was in a place of like, I was like in a stagnant place. I was like comfortable like working at Mac, like, okay, I'm getting steady hours. making mediocre money, and I was just oh, whatever, it pays my bills.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really seeking like my career in production and like having my own business really. And it wasn't until I moved up there that I had to, and it kind of like clicked for me.
You really realize when you start getting older, one decision can change your life. Like one tiny decision can change your life so much.
That's literally what happened to me, because like never in a million years did I ever think I would move like to San Francisco or anywhere else, just because I like loved it here.
Yeah.
But it was like an opportunity came, and I was just like, whatever. My mom told me like, home's always gonna be here, like go and figure it out. And I was like, okay. I like left with $3,000 in my pocket that I got from like getting rear-ended like a few months before. And I got a job within 2 days of living there. And yeah, I just like met a bunch of people and built so many relationships to this day that like are super important to me. And it literally changed my life, like moving there.
How did I do?
You did beautifully.
Thank you.
You look beautiful.
You look great. Your eyes are so beautiful. Wait, what did you put in the bottom?
I just put the orange shade, the No Fox Given. This guy right here, this one. I just got a pencil brush and I just like ran it like right on the bottom part. Try to do just the outer part. Like try to go like halfway. And then if you have another pencil brush, like another clean pencil brush, just diffuse whatever is on the middle into the inner part. That way it has more of like a gradient effect. And then also it depends on the brush you're using. I would recommend using like a small brush, like kind of like this, and just put it like right where your lashes are, like right in between the lashes. The closer to the lashes, the better. Because that just thickens up the lash line, and then it also like creates like a definition to the eyes.
Oh yeah, it does make a difference.
Yeah, it doesn't take much, like just a little bit. Because if you go too dark, unless you're doing a smoky eye, if you go too dark, it could drag your eye down. Like if you go too low.
Before, I used to never understand like how to work with the folds that I had, or because I didn't have too much. But now that I have more mature skin, I need to be more cautious about like where I'm putting the colors, because I don't want to have like baggy eyes or droopy lids.
Yeah, so yeah, you just gotta, I'm telling you, the older you get, the less makeup. Less makeup you need, and like the lighter handed you should go. Because like I look back at pictures from like a few years ago and I'm like, dang, I look way older then than I do now. I
know what you mean, because I say the same thing when I look at my pictures. I'm like, how do I look so much younger now than I used to?
Yeah, it's literally makeup and like the like consistency of the makeup. Like the more emollient the makeup is and the more cream products, I feel like cream products are key. Like a lot of people will ask me like, what do you use? Like, why does the skin look real? Like, why does the skin look like natural? And it's like, it's cream products. It's like cream everything. Like what I do is layer. So I'll do the foundation, and then I contour with the Fenty matchstick in amber. Yeah, amber. And then I go in with the CoverGirl. This is a concealer, but it's in a deep shade. This is Cappuccino. And this is like a really good shade for contouring because it has warmth to it, but it's also not red and orange. It's like right in the middle. So I like to mix these two because this one is like straight up gray. So like this one will do the sculpting. This one would be really good for you because you're very fair.
I need one of those.
Yeah. This one is like gray, but it literally like you can't even tell. Like that's all I used on my cheeks. Like I haven't put anything else on.
You look like you have bronzer and blush.
It's these two.
Nice.
I just put those two on. I will put some blush on though. have some blush because I love blush.
Me too. I have big cheeks too. And I think that's why I love putting blush on because it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. We have very similar cheeks. I'm gonna do like the old school trick. I'm gonna use MAC Velvet Teddy, and I'm just gonna rub it on the back of my hand.
That lipstick shade is such a classic.
It's iconic, and it's such a pretty blush. Like if you use it as a blush.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's see. Oh wow, it is pretty.
it's so pretty. Like, especially with like this eye look.
Yeah. I just used the Fenty Kilowatt, the one with Ginger Binge and Moscow Mule.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Just use this kind of like a blush on the high parts of my cheeks and then just put this as a highlighter up top.
That's really pretty.
I'm starting to realize that like rose colors and oranges and peaches look good for my skin tone.
Yeah, they do. Because you have a fair skin tone, but you have warmth to your skin too. And usually people with warmer skin tones, olive tones and warmer skin tones tend to warmer colors like peaches, oranges, even, I don't know if you've ever seen Scott Barnes' blush palette. He has a shade in there that's kind of like a yellow orange. It's so pretty. I know it sounds weird, but it's so pretty on warm skin tones, like a yellow orange. Think of that as a blush, but it's a great like mixer shade for like if you do use a peachy color, it adds dimension to the peach.
Oh, I want to try that.
Yeah, because I have his highlight palette and his contour palette, but he also has a blush palette, and that shade is so unique. I've never seen anybody create a shade like that.
Tell me about your family background.
So I am a first-generation Mexican-American. My mom is from Baja, and my dad is from Mexico City. They moved here in the late 80s, I believe. I was born in 91. And I grew up in San Diego, well, up until I was 6. And then we moved to LA County when I was 6. And then we lived there, moved a lot. I think I had a total of like 5 elementary schools that I went to. We moved a lot because my dad was a truck driver. So we just would stay at my grandma's house. Then we went to my aunt's house. And we just lived in a lot of people's houses for a long time. Like I said, we were like really poor. So like we finally decided to move to where I live currently, which is Ontario, which is about 40 miles east of LA. And I moved here when I was 11, I want to say. And then I've been here ever since. And then I just moved to the Bay Area for like a year and a half, and then I moved back here.
How's it like moving in Ontario? With being kind of close to Los Angeles, but not?
I actually have grown to like it. I actually used to hate having to commute, and I always wanted to move to LA. But currently I'm my dad's caretaker. My dad is permanently disabled because he has glaucoma. He's on dialysis. He's diabetic. He has high blood pressure. So he's very sick, and I have siblings, but I'm his oldest daughter. And so I took on the role of taking care of him because my parents are divorced now. Yeah. So a big reason why I'm still here is because I take care of him. And I've actually learned to embrace the fact that I'm not in LA all the time because I love LA so much, but I really feel like I wouldn't be happy if I lived there. Yeah. And I kind of like that balance of quality of life living outside of LA because my rent's cheap. Yeah. I have a backyard. I have my family close by. If I want to go to LA, I'm an hour away. If I want to go to Joshua Tree, I'm an hour away. I'm an hour away from everything. So it's actually been kind of a blessing in a way because, going to the grocery store is not a pain in the butt, things like that.
Well, so I know you're super artistic, and you also not only do you do makeup, but you sing. you play the guitar, you love thrifting. So when did all of that start as like from little Jenny?
Wow. What? I mean, I try to do it all, and it's really not a good thing because I can't focus on one thing. But so I started playing music when I was 14. I got my first guitar for Christmas when I was 14, and I went to like lessons for like 2 years, and then I stopped playing for a long period of time, and then I picked it up maybe like 6-7 years ago, and I started my band. My love for music was always like there. It was my first passion. Like, it was since I was little. I would like dance and I would sing. Like, if you see home videos of me, I would always be singing and dancing and serenading people. So music is a huge part of my life. I made a decision to put it in the back burner for a while because I was like, I want to succeed in what I do for a living, and I want to succeed in my passion. And even though music was my passion, I never saw it as a career. I never wanted to get big or famous. I just wanted to create. I did it more for like the art aspect of it rather than the popularity thing. But I decided I wanted to focus on, extending my career and just fully going tunnel vision straightforward so that I could succeed and, build my reputation and build my clientele. And then when it comes to thrifting, I've been thrifting since I can't remember, because like I said, I didn't grow up with much money. So like I could never afford to go to the mall. So thrifting actually started from the moment I can remember, and I just love old clothes. I feel like the quality of clothes is not the same anymore, especially with like fast fashion. And then I always get more compliments on thrifted clothes that I spend like $3 on.
Totally, because they're like super unique, very rare.
Yeah, totally. And like the prints that, you see from back in the day, like they don't make them anymore.
No. Were your parents always supportive of your beauty career?
No. Since I'm first generation and I was the oldest, my dad, a big reason I went to college was for my dad. And it was in college that I decided to start going to makeup school. So I went to makeup school while I was still in college. I did both at the same time because he wanted me to be like a social worker or a teacher or something normal.
Like a real job. Like a real job for them, because my parents are the same way.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like when you're a child of immigrants, like you always get that like, oh, you need to go to school, you need to make something of yourself. That's why I brought you here, or that's why I came here, is to give you that opportunity. And so my dad, I remember the day I told him I wanted to do makeup, he was like, well, you could do that, but he's like, you better give me your degree. I was just like, okay. But I mean, I changed my major while I was in college, while I was going to makeup school, and I went from a sociology major to an art major just because I knew I wanted to do something creative. But I ended up dropping out of college after my 4th year, and I just started working at Mac shortly after I got certified. And so my dad didn't support me up until recently, actually. And it wasn't until I came back from San Francisco and he saw how far I had come.
Yeah.
And now like he has the mentality of, I just want you to be the best one out there.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So it very much transitioned. My mom was always supportive about anything I did, so I was lucky in that sense. But finally I got to a point where my dad is finally proud.
I'm similar with my dad. My dad, up till this day, he would still remind me to get my nursing license. It's like, just have it. It just as a backup.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna waste a year of my life studying for that, and I know I'm not gonna use it at all.
Exactly. Because it costs money, it's time that you're never gonna get back.
Especially now that you're working and you know how much your time is worth.
Exactly.
You're not going to want to waste any more of that.
Definitely. So I feel you with that.
But you know what? We persevere. We prove them wrong.
And it feels way better.
It feels way better because we actually get to have ownership of our present. Because I feel like when I was trying to figure out how to be a nurse, for me at least, it always felt like I was forcing myself to do something for somebody because that's what it was. So
Yeah.
I would have never gotten to a point where I love what I was doing or that I was proud of what I was doing, even if it's a great job.
Yeah.
Like, I would have never been happy.
Yeah. I agree. I'm right there with you. That's how I feel about it.
So what's a normal day like for you at work?
Every day is different because every day I do something different. So, like, say a wedding day. I guess I do the same thing every day in the sense I do makeup every day, but the setting is always different. So, like, whether it's a wedding, I get there and I set up and, I set the ambiance for the bride. And I feel like a part of my job is to make sure that everything is calm and chill and it's good vibes. I feel like I take that responsibility very seriously on a wedding day because I feel like you make it or break it, like with the energy in the room.
Yeah.
And then productions can be like anywhere from 8 to 16-hour days. So like you could be on set, you could have like one person, one talent, or you could have 10 people that you're working on. So it really just varies. I work with photographers that do headshots. So it just, the location and the setting is different, but I guess a constant is the way I clean my kit. Like after every job, I get home, take everything out of my kit, wash all of my brushes, disinfect everything. And with everything going on right now, I have added maybe like 3 or 4 hours to the disinfecting process because I would always disinfect my kit since I started doing makeup, but now I'm using like top grade, medical grade disinfectant. So I have to like put gear on to like make sure everything is like clean and I'm keeping myself safe. So that is the constant, is just having to come home from a 16-hour day and still work. So it's just like a never ending thing. And then replying to emails whenever I get a chance, editing my website. I do it all. I book all of my appointments, like everything. So
what's your favorite setting, I guess, to work on? Is it production, weddings?
I think music videos. I guess production in general, but particularly music videos, just because it incorporates both of my passions.
Yeah.
It incorporates music and incorporates my artistic creativity. And usually in music videos, I get to be more creative and I get to use more color. And then I also really enjoy weddings just because I've always been such a hopeless romantic, and I never had like a quinceañera. I never went to prom. I've never had a day where I dress up and the day is about me. I've never had that feeling, and I love weddings because of that, because I get to create a day, or not create a day, but I get to make somebody's day special, and I always like envision myself in my bride's shoes. So I think I have a passion for both pretty equally. I really enjoy doing both.
Oh my gosh, like talking to you right now, it really makes sense to me now why you love what you do, because naturally, even if we take makeup out of the equation, you're generally like a very genuinely sweet and nice person who you are that first person in the group who will make sure that everyone's having good vibes, and you like radiate that. It's not like you're forcing it either, but you're being it. So yeah. I can see why that's the spirit that you bring in the workspaces that you go to and in the work that you do with like beautifying people.
Thank you, love. I mean, I guess I've always been like a people pleaser. I just like to make people happy. That's just always been a thing for me since I can remember. I've seen videos of me when I was little, and I haven't changed. And I really appreciate you saying that and recognizing that, because I never I don't know, pay attention to that stuff. So thank you. Like I'm getting a little emotional because I'm about to start my period. But I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Like my memory, like my real memory of you that stays, and it's not, I've known you for a while. Like we've known each other for 6 years, 5 years. But when we did the Gara shoot, and I had no money to pay anybody, but you came in there and treated it like it was a real job. Like you had your whole kit, everything was so clean, everything was so professional, and I was like, oh my god, this girl's gonna go so far.
Oh, thank you. Oh my god, you're making me cry.
No, yeah, because what that shows is that you bring your integrity with you when you go and do work.
And to this day, I still work for free because if it's something I believe in and if it's something that I know will express my work or showcase my work in a good way, or if I just love what I do, and I do know my worth, and I feel like the longer I've been doing this, I've like stood my ground with certain things, but I also, if it's something I believe in, like my work, I will always give it 100 no matter what. And I think that just comes with my work ethic, because work ethic is so important to me. I think to you too. I think when you come from immigrant family, work ethic is so fundamental, and it's something that's so ingrained in you. So thank you.
Yeah.
Like I said, to this day, if it's something I believe in, and it's something, it's for somebody I believe in, or somebody that I feel like is deserving of it. I don't know if deserving is the right word, but somebody that values your work, and because like money isn't everything, I know I have a business and I will stand my ground with most things, but I feel like when it's a collaborative effort, like I have so many industry friends, and if they're like, hey, do you want to do a shoot for fun just for this? I'm like, I'm going to say yes, because I believe in their work. I believe in their product. I believe in who they are as people. And I'm going to get cool images out of it.
Yeah. Totally.
So that was a big part of why I wanted to, I was so down to collab with you. And will forever be down to collab for Gara.
I'm happy that you are.
Always. It's about collaborating with, peers. I feel like that's the best part, is with peers, that you actually can confide in, and that they have your best interest in mind.
Totally. You bring everybody with you, and if all of you have that mentality, how strong can you be? Because you guys aren't working in the same spaces.
It's powerful.
It's so powerful. So what would you tell your younger self?
I would tell her that she's stronger than she realizes. I would tell her that even though she doesn't believe in herself right now, that one day she will, and to embrace embrace who she was, or who she is, and who she's going to be, because we're ever changing and we're ever evolving, and I feel like there's beauty in every part of everybody's life, but it's crazy how much growth can happen within a decade. I'm getting close to, in April I'm going to be 30, and I look back to when I was 20, and I'm like, I'm such a completely different person. I feel so much more wise and things like that, and I just really appreciate myself a lot more than I ever have, and I would just want to tell her that one day she's gonna love herself and be happy.
I love that. Well, I guess that's it for this episode. Thank you so much, Jenny, for teaching me how to do this fabulous look right now. Please let our viewers know where they can find you, drop the social handles and everything.
Thank you. Yes, so if you guys want to follow my makeup Instagram, it's just Jenny Bouton, button in French, Bouton. And if you guys want to be nosy and follow me on my personal page, it's just Jenny Lynn Bouton. I know it's confusing. And if you guys want to take a look at my work, you could just go on jennybouton.com and check it out. And yeah.
Thank you everyone for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe or follow me on my Instagram at Eric Tan. same handle for my Twitter as well. See you next time.